our first guest. His name needs no introduction. At the mention of his moniker, which actually is his name, you know who I'm talking about. He's been around for decades. He's been there, done that, from comedy to film. Is transversed across several sectors, observed with almost all the dignitaries in Nigeria and even outside the shores of Nigeria. But in the last 6-8 years, he's been focused on acting. He's been focused on films, and recently he produced his own film. I have in the building no other than Mr. Okechukwu Anthony Onyegbule, very well known as Okey Bakassi. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, hanging out with you guys today. How is everybody doing?
We are surviving.
Thank you very much for that intro. My head just did this swell.
Okay, so one of the films at the moment that everybody is talking about, and has you doing quite a lot in the film is Bankalat.
Okay.
So my question is, what brought about the idea for the film Bankalat?
Okay, Bankalat. First of all, the story is a story that I did. I think more than 10 years before it was actually shot. It was born out of situations that have really played out. You go to the bank, sometimes they wrongly credit you. Yeah, I've experienced it before personally.
Okay.
So many years ago. Yeah, where you're wrongly credited. Then they bring it to your attention that your account has been wrongly credited. So you go in and you do another transaction to remit the excess back to the bank, and that's it. But it leaves you thinking, okay, what if it wasn't an accident? What if it was something shady? Out of principle, you decide to say, okay, let me not keep what does not belong to me. Let me just be a good citizen. What if it was an illegal, whatever that was going on, and they were using your account to do some sort of laundry, move funds, let it drop in your account before going onto another account, so that when it's finally being traced, it won't be traced directly to the final account. What if, So that was how expanding that whole idea came about. So in the course of doing the story, I also had other people's account of situations like that, where people have used people's accounts to do some sort of shady transactions. So when I finished doing the story, I spoke with a couple bankers to see that what we are doing is we are not just trying to fabricate stories, that in reality it's possible that it can happen. And if situations like that happen, how do banks deal with it? So I did a bit of research, before we did. And of course, in storytelling, you now embellish, make it more dramatic, make it more audience friendly, so that people can watch and enjoy it. Give it family angle, add the other things that will make a good, compelling movie to watch. Then
So I noticed that you had a collaboration with a bank. I don't want to mention name. Yes. But you had a collaboration with a bank.
Yeah, not just a bank. It was a 4-way collaboration.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had 4 partners on the project. Yeah. So I ran into the then. I was on a flight with the then MD of Film One, and we got talking on the flight. And we talked. Naturally, we talked about movie business. And when we landed, we agreed to meet. And I have, in my system, I have stories. Even now, I have some that I've written that have not been shot. I'm not one to be in a hurry to shoot anything, because stories don't expire. Yeah, people the worst that can happen is people will do things that are related to it. But if you are the creator of your own thing, you will still have your own identity and your own touch. Yeah, there may be similar things, and what it does is that when you see something similar, you go and retouch your own again, you know, and take it away from that part again, but it stays relevant. So
Okay.
you know, so he saw the idea, he liked it, he thought it's something that we could do immediately. You know, he wanted it done immediately. You know, as at the time we were discussing, he said, look, we can do this thing and make it come out before Christmas. It didn't suit my schedule. But if this is my vision and somebody who is hearing it is so excited about it, then who am I? I have to be fired up as well. You know, so he now pulled all these other people who also keyed into it. You know, so it was Film One, Tribal Max, which is my own company, Trino, and of course Starling. Sorry, we don't want to give them free adverts.
I see what you did there.
Now we are talking about it.
Okay, so speaking about
came together and we did it.
the movie business and making films, when you set out into the entertainment industry years ago, was that the plan? Was that the eventual plan, that you would start to make movies, you start to tell stories?
Okay, so I've always been a storyteller.
Okay.
Always. So I don't know any comedian who's not a storyteller. I don't know any comedian, because that's what comedy is about. It's a different act of storytelling.
Okay.
You know, just that at the end of the day, what you want to get out of it is laughter. You know, crack people up, but you're telling stories anyways. So we are storytellers. But you need to become storyteller for cinema. And you know, advance it, you need to get a bit of a training, you know, so that you can take that craft from just telling stories in front of an audience to a different kind of level, you know. So that is what it is. For me, originally when I studied agricultural engineering, that is where my first degree is, and you know, but I was lured to, you know, creative arts while in uni.
Lured.
Yes. The beauty of it lured me.
Okay.
Not an individual. So lured does not have to be.
Okay. I was about to ask a follow-up question.
So I was lured by the beauty of it. You know, seeing stories turn into drama. You know, it's beautiful, and seeing the audience reaction of it. So that's what got me. You know. So anyways, so when I came into Lagos to serve, I did my youth service here in 1993. You know, while serving, I was also a member of the NYC drama troupe. You know, so it was during the service year that I decided, like, look, you know, I really want to take this to another level. Went to Zebejiro, spoke with him. He gave me an opportunity on the then set of Fortune on NTA. You know, so that was how the journey started. And in the course of doing that, I on my own tried to expand my horizon of, you know, learn more, understand it more, understand the industry, all the aspects of it. And I just knew that I wanted to be in this space, you know, because for you to find something that gives you happiness, and in the course of doing it, it pays your bills, how good can it be? It's like a footballer making money off playing football. It's you know, wonderful.
They do make money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like a professional athlete who just loves to play sports, and he gets paid
for it.
So I mean, it can't be better than that. So the work now became okay. So we have to make it pay bills, because you can imagine, like, as way back '93, this thing wasn't paying like that. Like, if you said you wanted to act, people will look at you like, this guy, you should say you don't want to have a romance with poverty. You understand what I'm saying? you get. So for me, I had to make it worth it, because people will still ask that question: why leave engineering and do this? Especially if you're not succeeding. You know, when people don't ask many questions when you're successful. Yeah, it's when you fail, then you get advice from even people who you're better than. They will advise you because you know succeed. Yeah. So
earlier in the career, you seem to have more impact in the comedy world than acting.
Yeah. So if you tell me, if you name two people who are more relevant than myself in the stand-up comedy business, then I will say maybe I'm still not doing it. Yeah, I don't think you can name two people in my generation who are still more relevant than me in the stand-up comedy business. So what I've done is I've done some kind of balancing.
Okay.
You understand, of the business.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done all of them in the value chain. The only thing I don't do is music. Yeah. So I've done all of them in the value chain, and I've balanced them. This year is about 31 years now. All right, that I've been doing it. So what I've been doing is it's balancing. I've understood the Nigerian terrain. I don't know about America or Europe or any other place, but you see this environment. I've studied it, and I've been able to figure how to make it work for me. And I'm not competing with anybody. I've always said it to people. I don't want to be your best or your number one. I just want to be relevant. You understand what I'm saying? You want to be number one, be your number one. I'm not arguing with you. You want to be world best, that's your business. Me, I just want to be doing this thing and be getting the happiness and be relevant and, keep it going. That's me. And I'm grateful to God that I've been able to do that. So what I do is I do balancing. There are seasons when stand-up comedy and hosting of events are very rewarding. Those seasons you hardly get me to do any movie project because I wouldn't want to be tied down on set and not maximize that season. All right, off season for all these other ones. Then if you want us to do any movie, bring it on. We'll do it. You understand? So we shoot. We'll go do stand-up comedy. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Okay, so right now a lot of skit makers and there are a lot of new roles that have emerged from the entertainment industry. Skit makers, stand-up comedy, which has always been there, acting. What would you like to be remembered as? Just a comedian, a stand-up comedian, an actor, an entertainer?
As an accomplished entertainer. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Which resonates better with you as a person?
It depends on the audience. So I tell you, when I travel around the country and even beyond, so I meet audiences who know me better as an actor, who are my fans because of maybe my flatmates. That is what they watch, and they like Ndoka on my flatmates. For them, that's the Okey Bakassi they know and they love. Can I change that for them? No. I go to other places, I meet people who love Okey Bakassi that they see at stand-up comedy shows. When they go on YouTube, they just want to go see Okey Bakassi. For them, is Okey Bakassi the stand-up comedian that they identify with. I have clients who like how I handle events, because I'm an event host. And once they have anything, I'm their default setting for who to call. You understand what I'm saying? And that is how they know me. So I want to keep it that way. It's good for business. So if I use my hand now and now say, I'm an actor, and the man who wants to call me for all the other ones says, I think this one in they do before. Maybe don't retire for that aspect. More look for another person. I don't shortchange myself. You understand? Yeah. So yes, I want to be a happy, accomplished entertainer. Okay. In the space that I play, I want to always be relevant in that space.
Okay, so 2 questions in one. Yeah. 1, what determines roles you reject and roles you accept?
Okay.
Or scripts you reject and the one. Okay. Then 2, in comedy, I noticed quite a number of the established act, even the upcoming ones, they're quick to say, I want to do my own show that I would headline. I've not seen that from you in a while. What is responsible for that, and how soon are we supposed to see that?
Okay. The response to this question, because it's multifaceted, wouldn't be straightforward. Wouldn't be simple. So I'll try and make you understand, because I don't know who else will listen and who else will benefit. Maybe somebody who is in the business or somebody who wants to do the business may learn a thing or two from my response to this question. So in everything I try to do, profit, longevity, relevance, all these things are factors that I personally consider. Skit makers, like I said from when I started my conversation, I've done skit making. That was prior to the era of social media. Yeah, I did skit making, but then we didn't have all these platforms to showcase it, so it didn't bring us the kind of money that we expected that it would bring us. All right, even the ones that we were able to do, people started feeding off it and all that. It's fine. But you see, whatever I want to do it in such a way that I know that I've done my best possible, and that, like I said, I'm not competing with anybody. The generations to come can look at it and see the trajectory of my career. At the point that I started rejecting some rules and some script, I'm intentional about my career and what I want it to look like. So, in the beginning of the Nollywood, talking about like 30 years ago, all right, in the beginning, we all were struggling to find relevance. So we were just doing jobs, numbers. You know, they call you here, they call you to Enugu or Onitsha. You know, it was Enugu. Yeah. Then he moved to Owerri, he moved to Asaba. He kept Lagos. Enugu, the locations were just moving. You know, people just wanted a piece of this action. Then someday I took a count. I'd done 50 movies. Like, okay, 50 home videos. Let me be specific. I've done 50. Because I also follow what is happening abroad. I look at profile of some people that, I mean, we want to model careers after. People like we want to look like. I look at their profile. Some of these people have done 10. Yeah? And they've done 10 and they own mansions. You understand what I'm saying? Mind you, it's film, it's not home video.
Home videos, yes.
You get what I'm saying? I've done 50. So I'm looking at myself. If I found myself overseas and someone was interviewing me like this, and they say how many movies I've, like, till date I've done more than 70. So if someone met me overseas and I say I've done more than 70 movies, then they'll be thinking I have a private jet. Based on their standards. Which is not. So it's not about quantity. It's about the quality of what you're putting out. What are you getting from doing it? You understand? Is your face everywhere and you're poor? So, which is why you see some of my colleagues get insulted when they fall sick and they can't pay their bills. You understand? Because people have seen you in so many different movies that they cannot imagine that you can't pay hospital bill. True. So what have you been? So they look at you like you're irresponsible. All the money that they've paid you. So people don't understand that this business is not as reward. That some people are just doing it for the sake of the passion that they have for the business. It just gives them joy. So for them, it's not really about money. But you see, you're also shooting yourself in the foot. So at some point in my career, I had to take a pause and look at myself and look at how I was going. You understand? And I asked myself, what do you really want to do with all these things? I also have children, you know, who are coming up, who have now grown to also see my work. You know, how is their generation viewing the content? Because I want to be able to sell to every generation, and I thank God I'm able to do that. You know, whether it's Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you understand? I want you to like Okey Bakassi and still relate with what he's putting out. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I have the young man who just walked in with me is my last born. You know, so I see their reaction when some of these works come out. So the ones that are not appealing to them, and I'm telling myself I can't be doing this one. My mom can sit down and watch all our old works and enjoy it. But these kids can't. They don't like it. So I've already served the generation of my mother. I want to serve their own generation now. You understand? So I have to key into their mindset and the kind of product that they are watching. So if a producer calls me and what you're putting out is where I have left, I don't want to go back there.
Okay.
You understand? So no disrespect to any kind of work, but I look at the work. If it's not going to add to where I am
at the moment,
and it's not going to blow up the account, then why am I even doing it? You know, there are works that You understand? It will not take you to the next level, but it will tear bank account. You gotta say it. Like the show Rihanna went to do recently, and people were saying, "Oh, Rihanna, go and do wedding." You understand? The money they paid is enough to cause problem. You understand? I will go for the wedding. You understand? Exactly. So if the money is not enough to bust my account, and the profile of the movie cannot take me higher than where I am, then I have to really ask myself a question.
Okay.
Now, it's a kind of sacrifice, though, because it's money that you're letting go. You get? So, which is why you see I juggle the movie and the stand-up comedy.
Okay.
So that what this one is not giving me, this one will not give me, so that I'm not tempted to go and lick my vomit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last question from me.
Yes.
I want to take you back to stand-up comedy now.
Yes.
I experienced it first as a stand-up comedian, and when I saw the growth of other female stand-up comedians at the time, I was excited. But in the last 10 years, it seems like there's been a shortage of female stand-up comedians. There are female skit makers, there are female, comic actors, but you rarely find female stand-up comedians that are just coming up. Do you want to share why you think that is? Why it seems like women are not coming into that industry anymore?
Okay. I'll tell you, as someone who plays in the entertainment space, stand-up comedy is the toughest art form. It's tougher than acting, it's tougher than music. If you have tried stand-up comedy, I'm sure you know.
I haven't.
Okay. Stand-up comedy is tougher than every other art form I can imagine. If anybody knows one that is easier, more difficult than stand-up comedy, let them tell me. It's a solo act. Is you, only microphone, and a full audience. And you have 1 minute to impress. Tell me which other art form is like that. None. You understand? So the moment they introduce you, you come on stage, they hand you the microphone, everywhere goes silent, all eyes are on you. Oh yeah, deliver. No backup music, no backup artist, no DJ play track 1 or track 2. You understand? If you lose your voice, you're finished. If you start shaky or you're jittery, they know already that you're panicking. They are watching. All eyes are on you. Deliver. So to do it consistently and do it for 30 years, you go strong, go. You get what I'm saying? That is then, because it relies on you, it means you must take care of your health, your well-being, your presence of mind all the time. If you're intoxicated or you're under the influence of anything that will make your brain not be crystal clear and sharp while in front of that audience, you have shot yourself in the foot. So now, I don't know why the women are struggling. I'm not a woman, but I just laid the background for you so that you can understand the craft the way it is. Alright? It's not something that you can say, oh, I'm being emotional today, I can't perform. If they call you, like, I'm off to Abuja tomorrow to do an event. If they call you now and say, come, you go. You can't say I'm having cramps. You understand? My mood swing is acting up. People want to laugh. You have to make them laugh. What you're going through in your life is not their business. They have paid. Come and do it. That is how it is. So I guess maybe some of those things are the challenges that the women face. Yeah, that is different from the men. Because a man all die and I die. Once he's in hustle mode, he's in hustle mode. You understand? Let's go. You know what? A woman fit they go through heartbreak now if you affect every other thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's Okey Bakassi. We really enjoy having you in the studio, and we hope to see you very soon again, where we would have more time, to discuss about more issues. Thank you very much for having you. Thank you very much.